So there's a saying that people say, it's like, oh, you have to be the person that you want to be. And people have this like tunnel vision where they only see black or white, where you start and where you end up. And most people are just speaking about where they end up. Like, I got the boats, I got the cars, I got this, or I have the great family, have the time to spend for myself. But I'm all about, so how do you get there? Like, what you have to do? Like, who did you have to change to get to this person?
Yeah.
Because everybody's like, oh, I want to be like him. I was like, you might not want to be like him because he went through 2 divorces. He went through alcoholism. He went you have no clue what that person went through. And that's what I'm more interested in. This person being this bright, shining star that they are.
Yeah.
Like showing us how to do it. It's not about the end result. I see this a lot. And it bothers me a little bit, is everyone's trying to learn the fastest way to make the money, to do everything. And they're forgetting to get that skill set. They have to learn a whole bunch of other skill sets that this person already learned.
Yeah.
And it didn't come quick. Like you said it right before. Like, I've been on social media for 5 years and I've been doing it legit intentionally. This thing doesn't come easy.
Yeah.
That's 100%. But in order to do that, you had to learn a whole bunch of skill sets. You had to be disciplined. And this is the hardest one that a lot of people don't realize. You have to trust yourself as well as trust in what you're doing.
Yeah.
If you don't have those two things, you can't be consistent.
Yeah, 100%. It's funny, man. Let me go back here for a second. This happens all the time. You and I spoke for a good solid 5 or 6 minutes before we hit the record button. Okay. And every time that I do that, it's like, God damn it, there was a piece of that conversation that should have been on the show.
Okay. What was it?
Yeah, it's just, you and I had a very open, frank, direct conversation about, hey, you asked me, how do I get into this area? How do I change my marketing? How do I, basically get my messaging out to a different group of people? And I just said, hey, man, like what you see from me today has been a combination of things. And the work started, like I got really active on social media probably 5 years ago, but realistically, it probably started 7 years ago. There was 2 years of flubbing around and kind of, I don't know about this. And then it was, okay, let's go all in on this thing. But it's been like 5 solid years of me being incredibly intentional with what I'm doing on social media that has allowed me to have the impact there that I do now. And with that being said, there's lots of other people on the socials who impact a fuck of a lot more people than I ever do or ever will. And that's just part of it. Cool. I get it. Right. I'm not The Rock. Right. I'm not Grant Cardone. I don't want to be either of those guys. I still want to be me. But how do we take that message? How do we leverage it? How do we get in front of the right people? How do we influence and attract the right people who will then stick with us and interact with our content over time? Because ultimately, all that I'm trying to do here with my marketing is put out a message that resonates with people who align with me. And eventually, we're going to start breaking down the big 3 in sales, which you know what these are already. I'm just going to repeat them and remind you. You have to break down the know, like, and trust factor. So they start to get to know you with the marketing that you're putting out there. Then they decide, okay, I'm starting to get to know this guy. Do I like him? Right. And hey, some of the stuff I put out there, people are not going to fucking like. And I'm fine with that.
And they get pushed away. So
later, my ideal target or person I want to do life with. And then finally, the third piece of it is trust. So when you combine the know, the like, and then you add the trust, those are the 3 pieces of the equation that then lead to a sale. So if you don't have know, like, and trust, you can't even offer your shit and close the deal. So
that's completely true. And I love it that you bring that up. Yeah. What I like, all right, so let me take a big step back because no one knows who I am yet, right?
Yeah, let's go back there. Let's kick it.
Let's take a step back. So what I just chewed up on, I was just like, oh, I think I could talk about that really good. Oh, wait a minute. They don't know what I'm talking about. So let me see who I am. So one of the things that frustrates me the most in the world is exactly what you just said. And people try to get the know, like, and trust. But they forget one thing. If you don't know, like, and trust yourself, your energy is always going to be based off your mask that you show up. So if you do get a sale, it's going to be to somebody that doesn't really know you. And as soon as that mask comes off and you get comfortable, things start going awry. Or it's just hard to get the sale altogether because you're never truly who you are and you don't know who you are, so you can't. And that's why people have a hard time. So one of the things that frustrates me most, and the reason why I do the things I'm doing, is I like to connect the person's mind and body So they start to do more with less time, that's effortless, less foot. Like it's just so much simpler when you understand who you are and your body's no longer putting on the proverbial e-brake.
Yeah.
So many people have this lovely Ferrari, they decked it all out, they have all the systems, they have all the things. Ferrari's on point, but they got that e-brake rammed up. And because they have the drive, the passion, and everything, they start burning tires and they're just going, and the car is moving ever so slightly because it's so strong. Yeah. But they're burning out their car. Mm-hmm. So I see things like when I was talking with you, I was like, all right, you have this issue. We have to work on this. We have to get this dialed in. Oh, once you get that, your back won't start hurting. Like everything will start working out. Like when you start showing confidence, you peacock. Right? People just open up their spot, like they walk into a room, but that's not their self. Because as soon as I see them sit down, they go off, they sit down and like clunk. Like everything just drops in that way because they're not able to have this posture be them.
Yeah.
So what I do is I get a person to understand who they are based on clearing out the belief system that's made them who they are through generational learning. But more importantly, getting them to do something as simple as a morning routine that activates their body, that turns on specific areas, that aligns your mind and your body.
Yeah.
And gets them to move forward. So things, you always are clear. You're always ready to go. You're always focused and have the energy that keeps on going.
Yeah.
Now everything just becomes simpler at that point.